Hello beautiful souls. It is May, which is really exciting. We're coming up very close to being in the middle of 2015 and I'm just amazed by that. And I just wanted to thank everybody who watches my videos, who comments, who reads my blog posts that correspond with my videos as well, and just really send you some love and just thank you really. Today, with the month of May, it's definitely a month of forgiveness and compassion. It seems to be the very strong core theme of the month, and I've selected cards from the Gaia deck, the Gaia Oracle deck, because I really felt that these were calling me and calling to the really strong messages that I needed to be heard right now. So starting with perception, I have a little bit to talk about this because perception is one of those things that we can either ignore or fully acknowledge that we need to step into. And I think it's very, very prevalent at the moment to be looking at our perceptions and changing them and shifting them radically. This message that I got before when I was actually in the shower getting my downloads was that, we cannot just look at what needs to be changed. We need to integrate it as well. This is very, very important when we're looking at our perspectives and changing it. The card says beyond the veil of illusion, and I always see the illusion as sort of this, cloud of the ego, but the ego is part of that cloud and needs to be understood as well. So when we're taking away the veil, we're also taking away the parts of ourselves that we no longer need, our beliefs and values that no longer serve us. But it's not enough just to sort of push them away and deny them and suppress them, because they become part of the shadow, which I know shadow is coming up a lot at the moment with the energy and really looking into things. And perception is a great tool and a great avenue to actually explore this area. So when we're looking at it, we're not just looking at ourselves, we're looking at others, we're looking at our ancestors, and ancestry is very integral in this part of the month, which was very interesting when I was reading into it, sort of looking at the perceptions that we've been brought up in and passed down, and not just with our parents, but sort of asking our parents how they grew up, what their grandparents were like, how they lived, how they perceived things. Something very interesting that come up in my own family circle was art, and the freedom of art, and the perception that you had to wait until a certain point to create art, or to forgo it, or to just suppress that side of yourself. And it really is about perception and time, and how your perception of time and your perception of yourself and your worthiness to be able to step into these passions that we really need to be stepping into, and letting go of the things that we just know in our heart we don't look like that anymore, we don't see like that anymore, we don't see the world as that. And it's really hard sometimes to let go of these perceptions that we have, especially of ourselves. And this is where forgiveness and compassion really comes into play with and going beyond the veil of illusion, because to let go of that illusion, to let go of that veil, you really have to sink into that feeling of that yucky feeling sometimes you're going to get, where you have to forgive yourself for your past, your darkness, and everything that comes up, and be really compassionate for yourself. And you're going to see it in other people too. You're going to see their things changing inside their minds, and you may lose people, like you may be losing people, you may be losing ideas, you may be losing projects, and things are shifting. And this is where the lost love really comes into play this month, because we're looking at the beautiful water here, but we're still in the murky water. We're still looking at the murky water because we haven't changed our perception to seeing what is beneath it. We see yucky, ooh, I'm not going to go there. I don't want to go into the darkness. I don't want to go into the filth. I don't want to go beyond something that I cannot see. However, to get to this clear crystal, heart chakra, throat chakra energy, we need to be able to wade through that. We need to be able to look at it and go through it and swim in it, whether we're going to get dirty or not. Because if you go into a river, if you slip into the water, you see the sediments will separate as you move through the water. Sometimes it becomes clearer, sometimes it becomes murkier. But the thing is, if you're really wanting to go for a swim and you're really wanting to just release energy and emotions and just be free, you're not really going to worry too much about what gathers and what doesn't, because it all will ebb and flow like the energy of life. So just really go into that water, know that, you know, what's going to be cleared will be cleared, what doesn't need to be cleared will come up anyway, and, you know, in your own time, yes, but also acknowledge that you don't want to wait to do this work. You don't want to wait to step in or just dip a toe in. You want to immerse yourself in it. You know, basking in the moon's glow and the feminine glory and the darkness, you know, the moon and the feminine energy is about going into the underworld. It is about taking that step willingly and going into the places that we don't necessarily think we're able to or want to, or are scared that people are going to reject if we do go to those places. I know a lot of the times, my own perspective, my own life, I've been pulled into the underworld and into that murky water when I haven't actually wanted to go to places that I needed to go. And the times that I actually do go in willingly, you know, there is a bit of resistance, but it's such an empowering experience because you come out of it so refreshed. You know, you're not just dragged down in the murky water. You're not there forever. You're not going to be stuck. And that is the beauty of loss. You know, it's not about being stuck or not being able to get what you want, or even if it's a lost person. It's not the fact that they've left you. It's an experience. It's a necessary experience, and so is loss. And that's what we're going to be feeling this month, that real experience. And by doing that, you know, going in our inner sanctuary, that's my cat, in our inner sanctuary, it's not just talking about going into that sacred space anymore. It's not just creating that sacred space. It is involving others in that sacred space, because we all, this earth is a space that is, you know, we're here as a powerful responsibility to make this world sacred, to make this world powerful and the people in it empowered in a positive light. You know, to take away the veil of the shadow, we need to be able to actually step into other people's sanctuaries as well. And I don't mean that by violating people's boundaries. I just necessarily mean that, you know, we're stepping into other people's shoes, we're stepping into other people's ideals, and sort of taking them on and questioning them for ourselves. Not questioning the person or judging them and how they see themselves or they see the world, but seeing ourselves in those judgments and in those ideals and concepts, and taking them into our own space to look at them, reconstruct them and deconstruct them, and really bring them back out into the world in a fresh way that really expresses ourselves and allows ourselves to come up through that light, to come up through that darkness, to really integrate into society and become part of this inner sanctuary. And you can do that in many ways. You can be doing it by, you know, going for a walk in the garden with people and chatting about life. You can do it by pen to paper or blog or whatever you're charged by. Really listen to what you're charged by this month, especially when it comes to the world. You know, Gaia has those 8 powerful branches that are extending out to you guys and feeding you with the energy that you need. But you also need to be giving back to her as well with those 8 points of energy. So it's talking about balance and power, and acknowledging our own power and really feeling into that balance as well, where, you know, you are going to the inner and outer, where you are going inside and outside, you know, the opposing opposites that Jung talks about as well, and how we need to integrate those together to become a whole. You know, human and earth, that's what we're talking about. This is what really is coming up this month. So, you know, forgiving the earth and having compassion for the earth, but also acknowledging the fact that it holds you steady. Without the ground beneath our feet, we would fall. Without the trees, we would not breathe. So acknowledging those very simple things and being part of that is going to help you along this month as well. So I hope you guys enjoyed that reading. I have a lot more to discuss in my blog. In my blog post, where I really go into the heart of this month, and I'm really excited about this month. It is just powerful, And I'm really looking forward to uncovering what forgiveness and compassion has to offer me and offer those around me. And I'd really love to hear your experiences as well at the end of the month, or whenever you feel like reaching out to me, which you can send me an email at authenticangelbliss@gmail.com, or you can find me on Facebook on my Authentic Angel Bliss page. Please come along and share your thoughts. I would love to hear some, and I hope you have a fantastic month, and I love you all. God bless.